So this is the Funnel Amplified content flow and data flow map to show how Funnel Amplified contributes to the data gathering that influences deals and how a company can learn from it. So these are the categories that a lot of companies will use. Maybe there's even a fifth one around products. But looking at their vertical markets, their competitive landscape, their solutions fit, firmographic profile, all of those type of data points that lead them to do a couple of things. One is to create their CRM or their ABM strategy, choose which one they want to use or how they're going to operationalize each, what deal flow looks like, what pipeline flow looks like, and determine which sales reps get named accounts, things like that. It also then determines the type of content that they want to create. All of this then influences their online funnels, their online content. So they take that content, they publish it to the corporate website. That's just a big term for all of their entire digital presence as a company. Whether it's the company blog, it's landing pages, it's true funnels. This is where they want to start driving, top of funnel traffic in order to start engaging with visitors. And then this arrow here is how it gets promoted. They'll share it socially. They'll have paid advertising. They'll put it in email newsletters, things like that, with the whole point of getting in front of more people and driving traffic to the corporate website pages, to the corporate content pages. Now, some organizations will use things like third-party intent tools, and they'll use what they learn from third-party intent to either create new micro pages for ABM. They'll trigger new accounts to sales teams and CRM, automate tasks for them to start reaching out to new companies. And this is where a lot of organizations will stop on the marketing end and with their content side, but there's still a lot of content that is extremely valuable for salespeople to use to talk to buyers earlier in their buying journey, to be able to create conversations faster than once somebody has gone to the corporate website, decided, yeah, this is a company I want to talk to, and then reach out to a salesperson. So this is where Funnel Amplified comes in. And we start with our sales rep dashboard because we want to give sales reps all the actionable analytics right at their fingertips. We will definitely send it back into the corporate machine, but we initially want to put it right in front of sales reps. So what Funnel Amplified does, first of all, is we have our Amplify solution that helps sales reps by providing a social post to them that they can publish to their own personal social accounts on a daily basis, or whatever the right rhythm is for the company. Our social presence is so important. If we want to look like a influencer, a thought leader, if we want to control the social airwaves and dominate them by being continually present in front of our buyers and in front of our industry, then the entire team needs to be consistent and well-equipped to do that. And that's where Funnel Amplified comes in first and foremost. Then the second thing that we do is every individual on the team has what we call a personal content hub. Think of it as being a subdomain, maybe similar to like ABM microsites, except these sites are personal for each individual on your team. A sales rep, a customer success person, an executive, maybe even somebody at the C-suite. But it's a place where they can personally share content with their network. Yes, some of it is corporate content. We want to take all this content that's created at the corporate level and be able to publish it to all of the content hubs. That way, when a salesperson or somebody wants to share it with somebody, it's there, it's available, it's on a public-facing little microsite. We then have features in place that it makes it super easy for sales reps to share links to that content with their social network. They can share it via email. We have integrations with like Sales Loft, so you can embed links to content in mass cold outreach. But this is an idea where we send it out to the mass public. We want to share this content publicly with as many people as we can get to come into the Content Hub. Much like the marketing team is doing over here by driving traffic to the corporate website with all these different channels, social, paid advertising, email, newsletters with the corporate database. However, this is done at a micro level to each individual's personal network that they can access via their own email and via their own social media presence. Now, again, this is designed to be much like the corporate website. Gather anybody that's willing, able, led into the Content Hub. Then we have what we call is a buyer hub. Now think of this as a private room or as a private digital room between one of the sales reps and a specific buyer or buyers. It's created on its own unique URL. It's all trackable, but this is where when a buyer or when a prospect moves from top of the funnel more into a salesperson's mid funnel, and you want to have a more specific conversation with them, we've learned over here the type of content over here being on the content hubs, maybe through email. We've discovered a bit of what they're interested in. Our buyer intent feature, which is first party buyer intent, a sales rep can see who's coming into their content hubs, what are they reading by topics. We tell them, hey, this buyer has spent, they spent 12 minutes on your hub. They've read these 5 articles. Based on their experience here, this is the topic that they are researching. We equip that to the sales rep so that when they create a buyer hub, it's going to be very specific to what the buyer is researching. It is a great way to help sales reps be seen more as that trusted advisor instead of a sales rep. They're leading them into more content that the buyer cares about rather than trying to sell, give them a bunch of content and let the buyer weed through it. Now, we have also within the buyer hub and the content hub, we have a feature for sales reps to curate content and then to also share content they curate with other members of the team. Now, what does that mean and why is this important? Well, just this morning, what I did is I found an article. It was actually a brief that was written by McKinsey and Company, and it had really great information in it that currently I have 2 buyers that would be very interested in that because it speaks to some of the challenges that they're having in revenue creation for their company. So I used my FunnelAmplified tool. I went and used my Chrome extension on the McKinsey website, and I clicked a button and said, I want to curate this into my content hub. What I did then is I wrote my own original content. This is just like if I was, if I said, hey, I read this book and chapter 3 is really great for you based on what you've told me because of these 3 things, you should probably go read the book. I'm not saying I wrote the book, but I'm using the book to help me be more of an advisor to somebody instead of just, having to write the entire book myself. So when I did that this morning and I wrote it within FunnelAmplified, what it also did was then it notified all the other sales reps on my team that I created this piece of content, published it to my content hub, and it gives them the ability, if they want to publish it to their content hub. That way they can then share it also with any of their buyers that might find value from it as well. Here's why this is so important. Content creation is hard. Marketing already has a hard enough time keeping up and creating content and staying ahead for the corporate website. Salespeople don't want to create content, at least not all of them. Some of them do. But what we're doing is leveraging that when anyone on the team creates a piece of content, curates a piece of content that is applicable to buyers, they then can share it with other sales reps on the team and say, hey, it's yours if you want to use it also. Now, if let's say everybody goes, yeah, I like it, I want to use it, they all have it on their content hubs as well. They can use it as they wish on their own content hub. Now, to extend that story, what I then did was I took that article, I put it onto a buyer hub. I actually put it on 2 different buyer hubs, one for each of these companies. And I wrote a little email to them. And I said, hey, I found this article from McKinsey. This is how it relates to what you're going through. I put 3 key points on here that I found that I think are most important to you. Click here to check it out. They go to the buyer hub, and then I've also embedded on that page a video that says, hey, this is why I shared it with you, and I give a little bit more detail. But that buyer hub is all related to them, their journey, their challenges, and I've now just positioned myself as a person that's helping them solve their problem, not trying to close a deal, not trying to get them to do a demo. I'm just trying to help them think through their problem differently. Now, what value does this offer to the marketing department and the corporate team? We gather all the analytics of all the visitors that go to the content hub, just like we do with corporate websites, but we're taking all this data and we're getting the visitor's domain, we're getting how much time they spent on content, which content they visited. We've got link tracking. We take all that data and we put it into first the dashboard so the sales rep can see that. And then we also take all the data, the same data from the buyer hub, and we put that into the dashboard and into FunnelAmplified. Now, this is really, really important. We're getting first party intent data. We're getting data based on their own activity. They're visiting the content hub or the buyer hub. They're reading articles. They're spending time. We're capturing all that data. And we first put it into the sales rep dashboard so they have it for activities or action steps that they could take today in communication with their buyers. But then we also put it into our platform and deliver it right back into the marketing department so that the marketing department, can learn from what real buyers were engaging with and how it was influencing the deal. So what I encourage a lot of our customers to look to is, if you see a buyer that came in through your CRM, let's say they closed 20% faster than normal, we can take a look at what content did they read? How much time did they spend on it? What order of those articles did they look at? And now we've got great data that we can use for future buyers that fit that same persona, because we're taking first party intent data, their own activity, and using it to help us learn what helps buyers buy quicker. The other outcome we see is a lot of times with content hubs and buyer hub activity, buyers are spending more than the average, because when a sales rep is perceived as more of a advisor, buyers tend to buy more from them because they trust them. They believe that they're providing a great solution to help them, not a sales rep that's just trying to sell something, close a deal, and earn a commission. So that's our content flow and our data flow. Created this as its own separate video because a lot of people want to focus on this. And so just pulled this outside of our normal deck and walked you through it. I hope you find value in it. You're probably looking at this on either a content hub or a buyer hub, which means if you look to the right, there's probably a name and there's contacts, and you can click on those and contact anybody from our company that shared this with you to learn more or to ask questions, and we would be super glad to help you with it. Thank you so much, and we look forward to serving you at FunnelAmplified.